Hey, everybody. This is Peter Hafner, certified financial planner and certified financial fiduciary. And today is quite a day. Today is Friday, September 29th. It's about 1 o'clock Eastern time. And it looks like a government shutdown is going to be inevitable. And that's why, for the very first time, I'm trying to do a YouTube live video. I figure this way I can get the information out to you really, really fast. Whereas the way we normally do it, it takes a number of days to get the information out. And the information I'm providing today, it's 10 things every investor is going to want to know about a government shutdown and how it works. And what I did is I got this information from an article that I found. It's a very good article. It's by Ryan Detrick. He's the chief market strategist for the Carson Group. And we're going to do our best to get this article linked to this video as soon as we possibly can. So to get started here, the bottom line is when it comes to government shutdowns, the government can only spend on what is deemed essential services. And this includes things like law enforcement and safety. So what that means is law enforcement and safety type organizations, and I know the IRS falls into this category too, and a lot of other government agencies, are essential service, but many are not. And those that are not, they're going to have to shut down. And the people who work there are not going to be able to get paid. And we don't know if it's going to be a full government shutdown or a partial government shutdown. Excuse me. And the last time we had a full government shutdown was in 2013. And then all 1.9 million federal employees who don't work on mandatory programs like Medicare and Social Security, they will be furloughed and sent home. And they won't get a paycheck until things open back up. So this can be a really, really tough time for federal employees. Now, active military, their pay is also going to be delayed. But if you're a veteran and you're receiving benefits, those benefits are going to continue. Food stamps and other nutritional aid programs and other programs are things like school lunches. They're going to continue. They're not going to be affected by the shutdown. And also disaster relief efforts. If they're going on right now, then they will continue. Now, some government economic data is going to be delayed. So things like the monthly jobs reports that we're used to getting on certain intervals, at regular intervals, that data may not be available, and this information could be delayed, or maybe it just won't become available at all. Another thing that's really important for a lot of you, especially if you're going on vacation or taking a trip, is that the national parks or museums, like think about the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., they will be shut down. So, in fact, I was in Washington during a shutdown. I can't remember when it was, but, there were things that just weren't open, so that we couldn't do everything that we wanted to do. Now, Libby Cantrell, who's the head of U.S. public policy at PIMCO, what she's doing is she's trying to estimate how much of an impact this might have on GDP to have the government shut down. And what she estimates it to be is 0.1 to 0.2% per week, a decline in the GDP. But she also believes that once the government opens back up again, things will rebound. So it's just a temporary thing. It's not going to be a permanent loss. Now, since 1976, the Carson Group has found 22 funding gaps, okay? 22 government shutdowns or partial shutdowns. And again, that's 22 since 1976. And only 4 times was the government totally shut down. And that includes 2013. Now, the previous shutdown in 18 and 19, that was a partial shutdown. It lasted 35 days. That was a long time, 35 days. And if we go back to 13, it was both the last full shutdown and the longest full government shutdown ever. And it lasted 17 days. Now, as you can see, or I should say, look again, I want to remind you, look for the link to the article that I'm referencing here. And in there, what you can find is you're going to find some charts. So when you find them and you see them, what you're going to see is that most government shutdowns don't last very long. In fact, the median of all those shutdowns since 76 is 5 days, only 5 days. And fortunately, stocks were not all that much impacted during these shutdowns. In fact, the average return on the stock market during the shutdowns was positive 0.3%. It wasn't even negative. So this can be disturbing. It can be alarming. And of course, it doesn't look good, right? I can see why people would be nervous about all this. But when we look at all the shutdowns since 1976, it has not been terrible. And historically, the market this is what goes on. The stock market, whatever we're seeing going on in the stock market today, I don't know that everyone knows this, but it's not really a reflection of what's happening today. It's a reflection of what the market anticipates is going to be going on in 3, 6, or 9 months into the future. So the markets generally look past these kinds of shutdowns to what's going to be going on in the future. And again, we just talked about how on average, shutdowns only last about 5 days. So not that long. And the negative impact of the stock market is not that bad. So there's really reason to be optimistic and not too worried about what's going on. It's one of these uncomfortable things, but they come to pass, as they say. And I think that's the way we ought to focus on this. And for all my clients out there, we've got our strategies in place. We're not surprised if the markets take a bad turn, because that's what the markets do sometimes, right? Right. The market's up far more often than it's down, but it's going to be down sometimes. So we're not surprised by that. We're ready for that. We don't have to adjust your portfolio because we think there's going to be a downturn. When we built your portfolio, we built it with anticipation of periodic downturns, like we could experience because of this shutdown. But, based on the findings at the Carson Group, it doesn't look like we have to worry about that. So that's pretty much it for today. Just wanted to bring this information to you. Again, look in the notes. You'll be able to find the article down there so you can read through it, take your time, find more information. I was just summarizing it. And if you find this kind of content useful, please share it with your friends and relatives and click the like and subscribe button. It helps us with the algorithm, and that helps us to reach more people. That's what we want to do. So thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again. Have a great day.